man. I do what I do.
I mean, it's definitely a lot going on. Look, you guys, my thoughts are this. They lost. You lost. You lost, and nobody wants to hang out with the losers. You want us to just stay home and not make our money doing rap songs because I'm supposed to stay loyal to you, and these people are offering me money to come down here. I'm not coming for free. They might be giving these folk couple $100,000 to go perform. They just supposed to miss that money, right? They perform everywhere else in America. They perform in Republican states, Democrat states, overseas, and they're supposed to miss that money just so they can seem dedicated and loyal to the Democrat Party. I want y'all to picture this. Think about it like this. This is like middle school. We don't like her, so you can't like her if you want to be our friend. And if we turning our back on her, so you're supposed to turn your back. This is some middle-aged girl stuff that we got going on here. Again, fellas, my suggestion is vote your interest. My suggestion is at all times figure out what's in the best interest of you and go with that. Here's the thing. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Shout out to my man Ben Israel. Welcome to the broadcast. Does it really matter what black folk think? I mean, let's just keep it 100. We couldn't carry the Democrat Party. They didn't win. You don't think they over there saying we just having a black vote alone is not going to help us win? What political weight do we even carry? And don't you think these artists who are multimillionaire, who's have access to pollsters and can see the direction it's going, are recognizing that just rolling and doing what black folks say do is not going to put money in their bank, help them have political clout? Don't you think they realize that? And if we really dig into it, we as black men know that for the most part, unless you are a school teacher or some sort of black minority contractor, we didn't really benefit much from the policies of the Democrat Party. I didn't get an EBT card, never was eligible. I didn't get affirmative action, never was eligible. I don't get HUD. I don't get, I don't get housing stipends. I don't get any benefit from the Democrat Party. That was black women that benefited from the Democratic Party. And black men are realizing that we don't benefit from the Democrat Party. Black women don't like us as much as we would hope they would like us. So why are we voting in their political interest? And they calling us mean names on the internet. So now that you got black men and black women kind of separated, and then they come back and say, well, we don't need a man for the past 10, 20 years. Oh, but we need y'all to come vote for us. You see what I'm saying? So this is and this is the issue that this is a new day. We don't have the political power that we used to have because we're not even together anymore. And because black men and women have realized we have the divergent political ideologies, I don't think it's going to happen. Nevertheless, the floor is open, gentlemen. Who wants to say something? Go ahead. I'm listening.
One thing I'd like to chime in on is I just get sick of the discourse when, if you already can look at both sides of the spectrum and see the pros and cons, but if you just so happen to differ any bit slightly, it's classified as you're for the other party, and I'm left with, can't I have my own dissenting opinion?
Good point. Yeah, good point. You guys know I've been on a little vacation, kind of just chilling, man. And it seems to me that black people, if you just really look at it, well, first let me do this. You guys, we got 4 people in the super chat who contributed and 1 cash out. Make sure you show me some love. Let's try to get to 20. That'll be plenty. Hell, you know what? Just give me to 10 and that'll be a win. Right now we got 4 and that ain't good to go. So give me 6 more super chats as we continue this conversation. But black people are socialists. Hear me out. We are very much socialist. If a black person becomes successful and has money, he's expected to take that money that he earned and give it to the community and spread it out.
Black family.
It doesn't even matter if you're not even related to these people. You see what I mean? Yeah, we black, but remember, we came from we got different ethnical mixes. Some of us got some Asian, some of us got some Native American, some of us got some Congolese African, some of us have some Central African. We even in Africa we were a separate people, but now we supposed to come together and share our resources, our time, you brothers are bound to marry a woman of African descent if you get some money just so she can have some of your money. We are very socialist in that view. And I don't think black people realize that this is 1955 anymore. 48 Laws, Artistic War. What are your thoughts on that? Is that why they feel as though Joshua kind of brought it up?
That is going to set the framework for a lot of change moving forward in the future. This is the first time that the block of just black people voting unanimously on one president it didn't happen. Whether if they stayed at home and took a seat, or if they voted for Trump, or whatever the case may be. What we saw just take place was something that we've never seen before. So I think it's going to take a while for us to adjust and get caught up and see what actually happens. But you got this old guard dog of who you're supposed to be voting for, who you're supposed to be sleeping with, all of that. All of that's out the window. I tried to educate so many of the Democrats on what's going on in these YouTube streets. I said, ever since COVID, there's been a change. These brothers is not gonna be dating single mamas, and I tried to get them to understand how that was connected to politics, right? Because they couldn't see the connection. I was saying Kevin Samuels and this, that, and other. I'm like, but I'm saying it for a reason, not to trigger you, but I'm trying to tell you that there's an undertone there. You can't have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Men are not feeling that, and if you want men's vote, you're gonna have to be on the same page with them. And granted enough, a few of the sisters, we didn't give a lot of our sisters credit, but there was a few of them out there that was like, nah, we with our black man, we ain't with that. We ain't with that. So I think that it's gonna take time. I think that there's gonna be since this is so fresh and so new, you're going to have a lot of the older people who don't understand what's going on. My uncle explained it to me like this. He says, back in the day, I remember when the old people didn't understand why we cared about Malcolm X. And they thought that Malcolm X was like, he messing stuff up for us and this, that, and other. But the young folks was like, no, y'all don't get it. And I think that's what's happening again. I think history is repeating itself, where the old heads are like, yo, man, you supposed to be voting this way, and we're supposed to align this way, and the young heads are like, nah, bro, if I want a white girl or a Dominican girl, if I want to vote this way, I'm going to vote my interest. There's a totally different wave that's taking place. So I'm happy to see it, and I think it's much needed.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that input. Yeah, man, I definitely see that. V. Ben Israel, you haven't spoke much, man. Jump in here, man. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Well, I was just listening to what the brother just said about Malcolm. And back in the day, I was there. So it wasn't so much a generational thing. It was more a regional thing. So depending on where you were located, you were either Malcolm or Martin. So typically in the South, it was more Martin orientated. But if you were in the Northeast or Northwest, like Chicago, you were more geared towards what Malcolm had to say.
Okay. But
the reason they killed both of them is because the brothers were finding out they were really saying the same thing. They were just saying it differently. But what we're experiencing now, it didn't start with Donald Trump. They're trying to use Trump as a target. But this movement that we see started with black men rebelling against the gynocracy. That started in 2010 under Obama. We saw Obama switch in 2010, and we started moving away from the Democratic Party in 2010. And specifically during Obama's second term, we said, wait a minute, this isn't for us. We're not getting anything out of this. We went into Obama's presidency at the highest levels of black home ownership. We came out at the lowest levels in history for black home ownership. He wasn't for us. We saw it during Stacey Abrams when she tried to dance on, God rest the Godfather's soul, Kevin Samuel's grave, and we rebelled against her election. We rebelled against that down there in Atlanta. So we've been moving constantly and further away from the Democratic Party before Trump even came down the escalator. Way before that happened. That's
Thanks,
my
bro.
thoughts.
That's very, very insightful, especially with the historical analysis of how I think Barack Obama, we saw him as our last hope. If a black president can't do it, we ain't gonna get it done this way. I think we kind of said, oh man, hell with it.
You would tune in to the one, if not the best, on these YouTube streets. We call him DennisSpurling. You sit back and hate watch, clocking everything he do and say, but you yelling DennisSpurling. Show some love, ain't enough going round for a black man putting it down. We talking DennisSpurling. Taking over 2025, ain't no lies. Pull up, tell all of your guys we watching DennisSpurling. You tune in to the one, if not the best, on these YouTube streets. We call him DennisSpurling. You sit back and hate watch, clocking everything he do and say, but you yelling DennisSpurling. Show some love, ain't enough going round for a black man putting it down. We talking DennisSpurling. Taking over 2025, ain't no lies. Pull up, tell all of your guys we watching DennisSpurling.
This is Uncle D, and as I always said this time, I'm out.
Almost to 10,000 followers. I want to say thank you to you guys. You know, I know God has something in store for me, and I'm going to continue to say yes.
Smooth operator. Come on, everybody. Smooth operator. Smooth operator. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.